So listen, we're in the new year, and we got this whole resolution thing. Okay. And Tanya, I know you have some reservations about the resolutions because you got some strong opinions and you think they're kind of stupid.
I
Yeah,
just think it's dumb that people swear they're gonna have a whole new life in January because January 1st is so magical that they'll be a totally different person. New year, new me. I hate that. No, new year, same exact me. Please.
Well, God is doing a powerful thing, in January, and it's you can't say that he's not speaking to people right at the top of the year, because the Holy Spirit, I believe he works on schedules.
So when that ball drops, all of a sudden,
he's got an appointment book and he keeps it, and no, in all honesty, I do think the New Year's resolution thing is quite interesting. And Joe, you can give your opinion. It's because I think for what I do, like with the coaching, you have three type of people, right? You got people that, talk about what's going to happen. You have people to watch what's going to happen. You got people to just make it happen. And, 9 times out of 10, you really have those who are going to talk and those who are going to watch. All right. Because really, if you're going to do something, you really don't need a certain day, okay, to come along. All right, I'm going to have a better relationship. Well, I'm going to wait till January because I'm going to continue on with these screwed up ones, right? Okay, but January 1st just seems like a good time. All right, and then 2016. We've got to have a rhyming slogan. You know what I mean? I'm going to do my thing in 2016. No, but you got to put a twang on it. I'm going to do my thing in 2016. Right. I don't know. Maybe that only works if you're down south. If you're in New York or you're in Chi and you don't have that twang, which I'm in Ohio. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. But yeah, it just doesn't work. Yeah, so let me just say this, give you a bit of advice about the whole New Year's resolution thing. Just do it. You don't have to wait until the new year comes along. If you're gonna lose weight, but I know being lean and mean in 2016 does sound hot, right? And it probably works with that watch night service. You know what I mean? But
but let me tell you something. They're so annoying. Those New Year's resolutioners. I'm trying to go to the gym. I got my space on the floor. And then those New Year resolutioners come and they're all over the place and they're getting in my way and they can't do the Zumba moves. And it's annoying. It pisses me off. And they're taking my spot. I don't like it.
Wait a minute, Reverend. You got what on the floor?
My spot on the floor where I stand when I go to class. My area, my section.
Oh, you saying all the preachers that have decided that they've blown up. Now they want to come in there and take your spot.
Right.
Okay, because normally it's about 5 people in class. Now it's 25. And you pissed off.
We already know the rules. We got this thing down, and now they want to come in and ask questions. And come on, get out of here. You're only going to be here 2 more months, and then we're not going to see you anymore. Get out of here.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, some people on my Periscope are saying Joe's in the building. Yes, he is. The infamous Joe Global is definitely in the building. Yeah. It's Joe Global. You know what I mean? See, now let me say this. I'm from Ohio, okay? And I try to speak with a New York accent. You know what I mean? It's Joe. But here's the thing. Let me tell you something about Tanya. Tanya's actually from New York. And she had to practice saying, you know what I mean?
You don't have to blow me up like that.
It seems like it should be a law, man. How can you be from New York? You can see the Empire State Building. Is that the Empire State Building? Yeah, from your crib. Yeah, and how do you have to practice that? Joe.
What's up?
Joe, man. You from Chi. Brooklyn. When somebody say Brooklyn, New York all day, Blue Licks. Yeah, that's what's up. Tanya, you suck because you're supposed to be looking at all the comments over there and keeping us in the loop. But Joe, you're from Chi, man. Did you have to practice, your Chi swag?
Nah.
Did you? No. Listen, did you hear him? He said, nah. You know what I mean? It was natural. It was real. It came from here.
That's not right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Don't talk about me like that. I got my own special accent. You know?
What'd you say, Joe? What'd you say, Joe?
I think she like my Chicago swag, Joe. She's into that. You know.
You said Lex like
That's
it?
all she like about me, man. Be honest with you.
Yeah. I know she does, man. You know what I'm saying? She's Detroit by way of Ohio and with some extra thrown in, you know what I mean? But anyway, okay. I digress. So, Tanya, this is we're getting into the part of the show where you want to tell us what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You keep us in the loop, you know, what's going on in the streets, what's happening in the culture and the news. So give it to us. And for those of you just joining us, welcome. We definitely getting into this hot topic, sex and dating, the real deal. So please stay tuned. Invite people. It's going to get juicy. Want your questions, your involvement, all of that. So, yeah, let's get it.
So, has anyone seen this show called Married at First Sight? It's bananas. Married at First Sight.
It's stupid. I can tell you already it's stupid by the name.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
You seen it?
I haven't seen it. I don't have to see it. No, I haven't.
Have you seen it, Joe?
Yeah. I can just tell it's stupid.
I seen it. Yeah.
You have?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
is there anything? Is there any substance to it, Joe?
Well, go ahead, Tanya.
Well, I was just gonna say, like they started out with these professionals, with a psychologist,
somebody said only made it through 2 episodes, right?
What?
Somebody said they only made it through 2 episodes.
There's 5 episodes so far, and I've seen them all because I'm like so curious but how this is working. It makes me uncomfortable actually watching it for these people because I'm just uncomfortable how they literally do not meet at all until they're walking down the aisle. The panel of specialists pick out these people for them based on whatever, all their criteria and questions that they have, and they put them together. And it is crazy, Blue Lyrics. It's crazy. They meet, their families are there, and they walk down the aisle and, hey, I'm gonna be your wife. And then they go on a honeymoon, and then they move in together.
Listen, let me tell you something. Someone said it started here in Scandinavia. This is 2 seasons. This is the dumbest thing. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, first of all, how are you gonna have true love? You don't know the person. I mean, I can see if it's an arranged marriage situation like they did back in the day. Your parents got together with their parents. They know you're good, solid families. You know what I mean? We got a little piece of money. You got some. Maybe we can exchange a lamb and a sheep and a cow. You know what I'm saying? For the daughter. You know what I mean? But this is just hooking up and just turning the cameras on and let's just see what happens. You know what I mean? And I just think it's dumb. And it's right up there with The Bachelor. The Bachelor is one of the dumbest shows I've seen. A bunch of women chasing after one dude and they're crying. When I tell you that is like,
right.
Can I say this? Backwards. Yeah. Okay. That is totally backwards.
That's what he
all right. So yeah, amen. Because dudes, we're supposed to chase. We're supposed to hunt. Yeah. You know, so you got this guy out there and he's in his suit and he's like, yeah. It's just backwards. Joe, what do you think about it, man?
You know, it's interesting because, you know, my perspective about love and marriage, you know, we talked about this before, Chris. You know, I never believed that marriage, the way that God originally instituted it, that it really had much to do with love, that it never had much to do with building this in love relationship, that God just honored the marriage. He always come at the end and say, y'all married, I'm into it, I bless it, that's what it is. I really believe in some cases, if you put 2 people in the room together and you leave them there for a while, coming out of that some kind of way, they're going to love each other. And so that's just kind of what I believe. And that's kind of what I believe about marriage. But this show is, the only thing I don't like is for
people are killing each other, Joe.
Yeah.
You're putting them together and they're blowing each other's heads off. So I don't know. No, I'm just playing, man. I mean, but check this out. It's some crazy people out here, Joe. If you just put them together and you lock that door and you with that key, it's gonna be a situation. It's gonna be law and order straight up.
You will be surprised on what environment will do to people. That's why a large percentage, 80 to 90% of the affairs that happen are people that work together. It's because if you put people in a confined space together long enough, they will develop some affection for each other. It just happens. And so that's why you got to be careful. When I was hiring a secretary, I said, I want the most unattractive secretary you can find in your life, because I know you could have found one in there with me. Eventually, this will be an issue. Come on, y'all.
You know what? That's so real. That is so real.
What's the qualifications? Does her resume say she look like Precious?
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Listen, I'm not gonna be able to look at you every day, thighs and the headlights and beautiful eyes and all that stuff. And it's just human nature, and we cannot deny human nature. So that show.
Hey man.
The only thing I don't like about that show is that these experts believe that they got it all figured out, and they could put people in the same environment based off their calculations and mathematics. And love ain't mathematics. Relationship and marriage ain't mathematics. There is abstract principles that happen in marriage and in love. So I just don't think that it's just that easy.
I don't think I would have if they didn't get married without meeting each other. If it was set up a different way, where they would set up and they had to really give it a chance to get to know each other, I think they might be successful, because they do base it on real things about them. So I believe in compatibility, and I believe what those experts were looking at were valid things. But to get married and not know anything about someone and go on a honeymoon and expect to be like intimate, and it's just weird and awkward, and then move in and all within a few days, it just makes no sense to me. And even in the cultures that do arranged marriages, they normally at least meet beforehand, and families know each other, so it's a little more, it's not so just out the blue stranger.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they meet beforehand, but I do believe that there really are some things that they're saying, okay, we believe that they would be a good fit for each other for these reasons. And I just think that with this show, I don't know if they're looking at putting real compatible people together and just letting them kind of live happily ever after. For one, I don't know if that they feel that will make great ratings. Maybe they do. Okay. But it just seems like to me that, to Joe's point, I do think if you put some people together and you leave them alone, they can work it out. Here's the challenge with that, though, Joe.
All the time, but they will eventually.
We don't live in a vacuum.
Right.
Because even I lost your video, but it says your audio is still there, Joe. Because even if you come together, those people will have to go to work. They will have to, interact with other people, other situations. So now their integrity comes into play. Can you be committed? You know what I'm saying? Maybe we could lock you in a room with Precious and y'all there for 6 months straight, and you fall madly in love. I don't know. You know what I mean? But once you leave the room, what'd you say, Joe?
She's gonna try to do
it. Hey man, listen, let me say this. if now I'm not necessarily trying to take it in a different direction, but to speak to your point in terms of adaptation, if you put guys in a confined situation for like 10 to 15, they may start to do some things that they typically wouldn't do from an intimate standpoint when they out, because of that natural need for the closeness and the intimacy. I know we just went to a whole, we did, but PhD doctor.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, and we not, because see, Joe, we could go so many different places, and he'll bring up some stuff that'll totally have us there, and I'm trying to, and if he will, and if his schedule accommodates, let's make a list and let's hit them all, but I know people want to get into this sex and dating stuff, that we're supposed to be talking about. But anyway, that's good stuff. All right, Tanya, what else you got for us?
Well, do you want to do a mailbag question?
Yeah, sure. If it's a nice quick one.
All right. All right.
All righty. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a great question.
My off again boyfriend and I have been together for almost 3 years. We're on a break right now, and it seems like for the past year, every time that I have suggested being exclusive, he has come up with reasons why he doesn't want to. The most recent excuse is that he thinks we argue too much. How do I really know if he really wants to be with me or if I need to move on? He hasn't called me in a few months, but I still want to be with him.
Well, and I'll let Joe get a piece of this too if he wants to. Really wants to be with you. To me, I think when a guy really wants to be with someone, they'll come back around.
Someone said,
guys pull away.
Exactly. He told her, bye-bye.
Told her what? He what?
If he wants to be with her or not. No, he doesn't want to be with her.
Oh, he said, I don't want to be with you.
He said he makes excuses.
I'm clearly not listening to you, Reid.
You never read. You never listen to me.
I never listen, and that's the problem. We have a communication gap. Yeah. So if the brother or the guy, whatever, he's the brother now, then told her, I don't want to be with you. I guess I'm not understanding the conversation.
I don't want to be with you. But he does make excuses every time they talk about being exclusive. And the last time she brought it up, he says that he thinks they argue too much. They're on and off again for 3 years. She hasn't even talked to him for months, for the last few months. He said it. Whether he said the words or not, he said it.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying now. Yeah, writing's on the wall, boo-boo. Off and on again for 3 years. That's a long time to not have any sense of where we're going. What is this that we're doing? And if he's saying, hey, we argue too much. Now, here's the deal. Why do they argue? What's the problem? What's going on there? But it's some major issues that have to be resolved before they can even think about this being a long-term, real deal, committed, lead to marriage type relationship. Okay. In my opinion. So, Joe, you know what I'm saying? Ladies love to hear from the guys, and you may have a whole nother spin. And I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. To some degree, I even kind of like it, you know what I mean? Because there's more than one way to be right about this thing. Go ahead, Joe. What do you think?
Frank Ocean, the singer, said something in one of his songs. He said,
what do you say, Reverend?
Bad religion to be in love with somebody who could never love you.
That's good.
So,
that'll preach.
There's a couple things. Firstly, men, for the most part, we are in between two things. The woman we want to be with, we're in love with her, but we also in love with something else, and that's our freedom. And so really finding somebody that's worth giving up our freedom is a tough situation because we understand that things got to stop. And being in love with your freedom could be as rough as being in love with another woman. The other part is that a man that loves you, regardless, and sometimes we'll try to medicate ourselves by trying to follow up and chase behind a man that don't give us that much attention. For some reason, that's more attractive to us than anything. I don't understand that. But if the writing is clearly on a wall that this guy ain't reaching out to you, that he come up with more excuses about why he shouldn't be with you than to be with you, then you have to start to count your costs, put a Band-Aid on your little boo-boo, put on your big girl pants and move on. Yeah. And start the grieving process so you can get past it. Because, as soon as you show him that you're getting past him, you still calling him, texting him. We know that you still want us when you do that. You know what scares me more than anything? Silence. Get silent on that Negro. Stop texting him, stop calling him, block him on Facebook, Instagram, because he's still watching your life. He's still following some kind of way. But if you block him out where he can't see nothing about you and you don't communicate, he'll come after you if he really wants you. But you gotta be a big girl and make that step. But as long as you calling, crying, texting, I miss you, putting up Facebook statuses that's about him but not about him at the same time.
Right. You preaching now, doctor. You preaching.
Definitely.
You preaching.
Man, silence is the scariest thing in the world for men. I promise you, I'm telling you. You ever want to get a man, stop calling, stop texting him, leave him alone. And you'll see who he really is when he's scared.
Reverend Doctor, you said just so much right there. Oh, Jesus. And this ain't even what the show about, but we can kind of make it,
I love it.
We gonna get back over there a little bit because
someone wants to know if you have a book out, Joe.
Not that.
Yeah, say he writing it, Joe. Yeah, he'll take pre-orders. He will take pre-orders right now. Sure will. Give him your PayPal. No, seriously. For those of you that are watching this, and then those of you that are going to see it on the replay, Joe's a phenomenal guy. Engaged to a phenomenal woman, friend of mine, Lexi, and he just has so much depth and a wonderful perspective on things, and that's why I wanted him to be a part of today's discussion. So listen, we might as well just go ahead and segue, because that's just a beautiful alley-oop to this sex and dating thing. Because and please ask us whatever questions you got, and I will say that the majority of the people that I believe listen to me and watch my videos have very strong spiritual convictions. Okay. And the whole deal about sex before marriage and what does all that mean? And I think we're not talking in this conversation from a spiritual perspective. Should you have it or should you not have it? I think that's foregone. I think we know what that is. But, looking at our ideals versus the reality that we really live in, people having some sex out here. Okay. And, guys get blamed for a lot of the issues, but the guys ain't having sex. How should I say that differently? A lot of let me clean it up. Let me clean it up, Princess. Let me clean it up. A lot of these guys is having sex with women. So yeah, so with that being said, people getting it on. So what I want us to talk about is the perspective of what is happening when you ladies, okay, are having sex with the guys. And here's what you hear a lot of times. after we had sex, he lost interest, right? Very common. And, you know, when I look at, first of all, why would a woman go against what she said she didn't want to do to begin with? I love Jesus, you know, and I promised God and a few others I'm going to keep myself until that wedding day because I want to, and I'm not making light of that. That's very beautiful. That's very powerful. But somewhere between that and saying I do, you get done. Now, here's what I think. One of the reasons is it's a lot of fear. You feel me? Okay, you know, we talked about the doormat woman. All right. Her boundaries pretty much non-existent, right? Now, if she gets with what I would call like a predator type guy, he's that slick dude. He's that very kind of aggressive, you know, got a lot of energy, probably could be considered like that alpha male dude. Hey, listen, I hate to say it, boo-boo, but you know what I'm saying? You are easy pickings. 9 times out of 10, because what's going to happen is because of your fear, all right, you're going to be fearful that if he leaves, now you don't have anything. All right. So then you'll say, oh, well, I will do this because he probably is going to leave because I'm not, you know, being intimate with him. You know, you may have tried to, you know, resist and so you do that. Guess what? He's probably going to leave you anyway. All right. Now, secondly, if you are a type of woman that your thing is, I'm going to control and manipulate the situation, somewhat like the guarded woman that we talked about. I'm going to control it because I'm going to whip him. I'm going to put it on him and and when I tell you this joker ain't going nowhere because listen,
sorry, Boo-boo.
In the barbershop, wherever guys gather, I just don't know too many guys. Now, Joe may know some that says, listen, man, I got to be honest with you, man. The main reason I married her, man, dude, she was, it was amazing, the physical chemistry. Because let me tell you something. That will last for about 60 seconds, however long his stamina is. But you got to live with that person outside of that situation. So you can't use that, okay, to try to keep this guy. All right. But I'm just saying that's another reason why, you know, she'll get into that. A lot of times this will happen. She can do that with maybe a weaker minded guy. You know, I call him like the parasite, like that mama's boy kind of dude. You know what I'm saying? He's just looking for a situation to kind of be cut, you know, catered to anyway. But then you got the CEO type of female where her thing is, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a monkey on my back.
I was gonna say, I'm like, what if she just wants to have sex?
What'd you say?
Who are you talking to?
I didn't, Reverend, your thing is delayed. All right. You got the monkey on your back and your thing is like if guys, why should guys be able to have all the fun? Okay. We as women, if we want to, you know, engage, you know, we should be able to as well. Well, you know, here's the problem with all of those scenarios. Whichever reason you choose to engage, if you said you were not going to, right? It doesn't mean that guy has had enough time to really be into you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I'm talking about you, the real you. Okay. So you run the risk, all right, putting the spiritual piece aside. Now there's validity in why the spiritual piece exists about waiting. But if that guy's not into you, because like Joe alluded to earlier, when you go silent on a guy, because we're not looking for the woman that we can live with, right? We're looking for the woman we can't live without. And if you haven't penetrated us, you haven't got in here and, you know, you in us, then if you do try to cut him off and you're not penetrated, he's not infected, he don't care.
How do we?
He really doesn't care.
How do we do
but
that?
If he has been in, what do you mean?
How do you do that? Like, how do you know when you've done that?
Well, I'm gonna answer that because that's what we're segueing into, and then I'm gonna let Joe take it. How do you know? Okay, first of all, it takes time, but not just time. What is happening when you are together? Are you fun to be with? Are you low stress? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when a guy comes into a woman's life, we really want to add. We really want to, if we really care about you, we've got to that place, we want to make you happy. And when we do present you with things that we hope will make you happy, we want to be praised. We all are little big mama's boys, you know, that thing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So if he's getting that cocktail of affirmation, love, happiness, joke, you know, be fun. We love to laugh. You know, we want you to laugh at our jokes too.
Lexi
even if they ain't
said,
funny,
let
we
her
want you to
baby
laugh
talk.
because it just, huh?
Lexi said, let her baby talk. And somebody said
I'm
I
gonna
look
let
like Kim
him
Whitley.
talk, Reverend. I'm gonna let him talk. Okay, so yeah, that's how you do it. But Joe, you go ahead because they want your book. But you can get mine too free on the website. But just no. Go ahead, Doc.
I really believe that we talking
and
about.
And say hi to her followers, she said.
What up, my Lexi followers? What's going on? Y'all know I'm on here. Y'all know I'm decent. I'm always decent. I love you, baby. Mwah. We're talking about premarital sex, right?
Yes, we are talking about premarital sex.
Well,
getting it in.
Doing the no pants dance. Listen, I really
it's happening.
That we are in a place why the world is so sexual, and I'll give a spiritual principle to it, then we'll deal with other things. I think that one of the reasons that sex is so big is because in a lot of ways our system was set up for us to
Sorry. Lexi is over here acting up.
Be careful, Lexi. Be careful.
She said, never mind, log off.
That we're supposed to have ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy from being in the presence of God. There's no feeling in the world that's better than actually being in the presence of God. And when we as a people or as a person individually don't really have that, the very first thing we need to do is we need to supplement and medicate what we're missing. And our flesh has the best way to medicate and to supplement that, and that's sex. Sex is almost the parallel spirit for being in the presence of God and what it is in the flesh with being in the presence of sex. So what we do is that we try to feed what we're missing by not being in God's presence with our bodies. But the thing is that the sexual experience, especially without God's covenant, is only temporary. And that's why we never feed that thirst. That's why it's never ever quenched. It's like drinking soda. You drink a soda and you drink it and then you thirsty again in 5 more minutes. It's only for the temporary fix. The only water to really, really finding peace and wholeness and identity is if you find that in God. And if you find that in God, then when you have sex in a holy place, it's like water. It quenches your thirst. It stopped becoming a temporary medication, and it becomes a way that I communicate to my wife how much I love her when my words run out. It gives me a different way to speak to her without even saying a word. And so what we did, we have misplaced our passions and put them in an improper place. And that's why you can feel so dirty and so ridiculous and so misplaced when you at the end of a sexual experience outside of the covenant of marriage. And so what we need to do is we need to really, if we're going to address why this sexual thing is so big in our lives, we need to really address who God is in our lives and what we're missing in our own identity. I know women, because they're good at sex, they always have sex because that's the only place they get applause. The world is based off a point applaud system. If you find out where your husband at or where your wife at when they're not at home, you got to find out who making the most noise and who giving them the most points. It's because you might have sex with your husband at home and you might do a moan and maybe make a squeak, but Keisha down the street, 17 kids, she's screaming and hollering and squirming when he rub on her leg. And so you got to find out. See, men, and I'll give me a few more minutes, a few more seconds. The men are based off of point systems. Y'all taught us, women. We didn't teach ourselves. We were little bitty kids. I used to say, come here, boo-boo, come on. And we'll waddle ourselves to you because we are. We draw a little picture and we run it to you and say, Mama, here go a picture I drew for you. You say, oh, baby, look at the picture you drew for me. I love you so much. And then we go draw another one. We enter the points. We enter the thing. So if a man bring you flowers, if a man kiss you on the neck, if a man lay you down and run you a bubble bath and you make no noise about it, you're under the table telling him, never, ever do that again. And so when you say that to us, we're going to find another place to get our points from. And so you got to watch. If you want to find out where your man at mentally, spiritually, and all his part of his life, find out where the noise at and who's making it, and you'll find your man.
Lexi said you're going to get every girl named Keisha stabbed. You got people out here wanting to send you an offering, though, Joe.
I was about to say, I'm sure they want to know where they can send it, Joe. You better, like I said, you better take pre-orders, Doc. Take pre-orders. Hey, somebody said, what we talking about? We're talking about sex and dating and a little bit of everything else relationship. You know, Joe, that's an excellent point. Because when you talk about who claps the loudest, that's just how we as men are wired. Okay. Like you said, you know, we waddle our little selves up to mama and mama, she trained you from that because it didn't matter what you did. It could be the most ridiculous monstrosity and she praised you.
Right.
You know, so we grow up and we still look for that praise in, you know, the woman that we say is going to be special in our lives. So, and trying to, because we kind of, you know, I'm trying to stay on the sex but like you said, from the one who is just because you touched her leg, she's like, ooh, that just did something to me. You know what I mean? You like, I really didn't have to do much to be Superman with her, you know. And then another situation where you think you really, and she like, boy, bye, you know. So those are some of the dynamics that, you know, men, we deal with. All right. So when you do, women, give a guy the most precious part of you. Okay. And let me say this, because if you are one of the women, or if you've been in a situation like I described, you know, and I talk to ladies all the time and they call me and we're having a consultation and I slept with this guy and, you know, he left and, you know, it's just a lot of fear, you know, and I get that being alone sucks from a standpoint. I believe women were created to have a covering. All right. So I believe that's why women feel so out of bounds when they don't have that there. Okay. But if you lower your standards to the point where you give the most precious thing, one of the most precious things that you have to somebody, you just cast your pearls before swine. Listen, you know what I mean? Now, next time, Doc Reid, you in my prayer closet. I'm sorry. Next time.
I message her back. That's what he does.
I'm sorry. Okay. So now I'm confused. Okay. Because let's talk about the guy that's out there. And this is a very challenging kind of guy. I call him the ambusher. There are some guys, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that I was one of them, that can wait that thing out. Meaning, what do I mean by that? okay, an ambusher, right? He's camouflage and he can hide and he's patient, you know. Can you can you imagine somebody like me on the dating scene? And this is what I mean, somebody like me. I know I will listen. Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy. Well, you know, maybe what you need to do is blah, 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 and da. When I tell you I meant no good. That was only for about a year, but I had a lot of victims. I'm embarrassed to say, Reverend. And it was very, very easy. You know what I mean? Nobody vetted me. You know what I mean? Just because I would listen to you and just because I would just do those things, but I was a wolf in sheep's clothing. So my point is you have to be careful, ladies, because you may say, all right, I've counted up the cost and I've decided that I am going to give the most precious thing that I have that I've kept to this guy because, yeah, he's proven. Proven what? Proven that he can wait for a little while. You know what I mean? My thing is this. I think ideally, you know what I'm saying, to have a guy put a ring on it, phenomenal. I mean, in reality, is that happening in every situation? You know, let's keep it 100. No, it's not. But I think that when a guy is willing to, because I don't know no dude, Joe, you might, I don't know no dude is willing to fake it to the altar. Now, maybe some are. Now, maybe you rich and you got some money. He think he's going to get something else out of the deal. But what I'm just saying is at that point, if he wants to show his level of commitment and say, hey, listen, I respect you enough that here, I want you to be my wife. All right. And you may say, well, okay, well, what signs do I have to look for that this guy is even going in that direction? All right. Does he make you feel special? Does he make you a priority? You know what I mean? Is when he out with his homies, you know, will he drop things to make sure, hey, y'all, hey, y'all, hold on. Hey, babe, you know, will he use, you know, loving and affirming? Because most dudes, real dudes, ain't gonna use too many honeys and babies and sweeties and when they with the fellas, because I'm not even trying to put your status out there like that. You know, like you are that one. So I'm just saying these are little signposts that you can go off of, ladies, to see if he is really in it. All right. And like I'm not trying to make it sound like it's easy and it's a no-brainer, you know what I'm saying, keeping that part of yourself, because we live in a very sexual society, you know, and like Joe said, you know, a lot of what we need is that connection from a spiritual place because we have a huge void. All right. I'm gonna pass the mic because I want Joe to speak because I'm gonna buy his book too. Go ahead, Joe. Say what you got to say. I know I'll be like a preacher, man. I'll just be up here like, in God.
You got the mic for it. Yo.
Yeah. Big purple.
Everybody do me a favor. Look on the bottom part of y'all Periscope. Swipe it to the left, swipe it to the right, share, invite people to get on. Because we gonna get into this thing for real tonight. Because I feel like it. Kristen hit me and got me on here, so we're gonna get into it.
I've been trying. You don't even know how long I've been trying to get Joe. So yeah, y'all better soak this up straight up. You might not see him no time soon.
To the right. Let's talk about singleness while single. So this is the thing. When I was a kid, Chris, we had this pet, right? I grew up in the hood, had rats and roaches and all that. And the only reason my mama got this cat is to keep the rats or mouse away, right? And so watch this cat of ours chase these mice all through the house. He would chase them, he would smack them, he would bite on them and do it, and they're moving and running, trying to escape him and get away from him, and he'll keep chasing them. And he had no consideration of his stamina or how tired he was or where he was in his body or whatever the case, right? All he wanted to do was catch this rat. But check this out. As soon as the rat died or gave up, the cat lost his interest in chasing that rat. Let me tell you what ladies been doing. Ladies have been laying down and giving up everything way too soon. That's like that mouse did, and wonder why the cat lose interest. You cannot die. You cannot deplete yourself. And oh my God, see, the devil didn't like that. You cannot.
Dr. Mel, no, he's not calling you hood rats, Reverend.
That's funny. I like it.
I'm saying you cannot get to a point to where you lay down, lose all your energy, give everything up inside of you, and expose it to this cat and think that he's going to stay interested. I always say this: never give anybody all of you. If you give a dude 80% of you, I swear to God, he'll spend the rest of his life chasing the 20. But you so want to show who you are. You want to explain, this is how I am as a person. This is what I do. This is what I got. This is what I'm about. This is what. Don't give up everything. People got to earn things in levels. It's only certain, even in the government, you only get certain security levels of clearance as you go higher in the government. Why the hell do y'all give guys 100% clearance on a second date? It don't make any sense. And so what happens is that you've underappraised your value and you sold yourself short, and the man then bought into you, and now he leaves you is because he valued you at one point, but the more he got into the property of you, he found out you wasn't worth what you were selling in the beginning. So what you do is not give them all yourself, especially sexually, because once a dude get inside your body, he's really inside your spirit and inside your soul. And so you got to keep that Christmas gift wrapped, because if you keep unwrapping it and then taping it back up and wrapping it and then unwrapping it again to give it up to somebody else and taping it back up again and then unwrapping it to give it back up to somebody else, by the time you get to the man that the gift was meant for, the packaging gonna look so raggedy. And
it's beat up, Reverend. It's real beat up.
And it's gonna be clear that toy has been played with by too many kids. So you got to give up on the kids. The truth is that it ain't no strategy. It ain't no secret to it. What you need to do is you need to submit to the understanding that everybody is not worth what you're giving. And then when you start understanding your self-worth, then you'll know what to give and what clearance to give. Y'all be letting dudes in y'all crib y'all been on 2 weeks here around your kids and all that, man. When we see that, we automatically say, oh, she one of those. And so we'll wait around, we'll play nice because we'll get what we want from you and all that kind of stuff. But the truth is that we've secretly put you in a category that says a non-wife. Now, we'll still go out to dinner with you because men are good at performing. We can perform depressed. We can perform unhappy. We can perform in the worst situations. But at the end of the day, we already put you in that category. And we'll play it as long as we're getting what you want. Because some dudes will stick with you because you feed them. Some dudes will stick with you because you make him feel good inside. Some dudes will stick with you because substantively you ain't about nothing, but you cute and you look good when you take you around his fellas. We're very shallow, crazy, ridiculous creatures. I don't know why y'all even like me. We could be really but you have to, it starts with you understanding your value and not allowing these guys to put you in a place to where you lay down and you die, and then he lose interest, and now you just laying in the middle of the floor by yourself, dead, and giving up everything, nothing else inside of you, no life inside of you, because you've given it to some dude that been chasing you. Let that dude chase. Let him chase. It ain't no strategy.
You know, the fear is, though, Joe, that and I know this is the real fear, and somebody is listening to what we're saying, and they say, I get it. You know, they get the head knowledge, let him chase. But when they're in the trenches and they've been dating this guy for however long they've been dating him, and they hear, okay, just let him chase, cut him off. The reality of that fear that he might not come back, it's paralyzing. Okay, so, you know, for all the ladies that are listening, they're saying, you know, oh, I don't have any problem doing that. That's cool. I'll cut him off. And that's cool. You know what I mean? But I'm talking to the one, yes, she has a major challenge dealing with it. She has a serious soul tie. Okay. You have to really gird up your loins. Okay. Step out on faith. Have some accountability partners, whatever you got to do, because you got to trust the process, because it can be like a drug. You try to, and if you, for Joe, somebody that's never tried this, don't try this at home. Okay. For somebody that's never tried this and they go out and say, I'm going to try to do it. It's going to be calling them. He's going to be calling them. Okay. And their challenge is going to be, how do I stay and stick to this? All right. When I'm in that place of, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to go anywhere. All right. So speak to that.
We have developed in our community and in a church world, the system of economy when it comes to relationships. So you telling me that these women, to keep these dudes around, that they will pay them with sex to keep them around. And so
yes,
we have to embrace and reverse ourselves from the reverse prostitution, to where we're paying people for their time. We ain't giving them money, but we giving them cookies to keep them faithful or to keep them happy. Let me tell you something, ladies. If a dude gonna be with you, he gonna be with you with the cookies or without the cookies. So what you have to do is, and that's why it's hard to deal with this without a spiritual principle, because God hasn't given you the spirit of fear, to fear whether he gonna leave you or fear whether he's gonna walk away from you if you're not having sex with him. I mean, what are you? And so now you've diminished. But the other part to this, Chris, is we don't really talk about is the sexuality of women. These are very, very sexual these days. Look at Tanya nodding.
You better say it. So, Tanya, you've been quiet over there, Reverend. And I know you got a lot to say.
I do have a lot to say. But I'm like looking.
Do you have something?
Looking everywhere. I'm listening, and I'm looking to the comments on Periscope. I have a lot to say, but I want you to finish your point. Do you have something?
Okay. Well, go ahead, Joe. Finish your point.
I really didn't have a point. I just, it's
you said they're very sexual. Yes, they yes.
Women are just as sexual, and they fight the urge just as much as we do. But at the same time, again, we have to really look at us finding our identities, so that our identity is not wrapped up inside of our sexuality, wrapped up inside of another person. Just because you are a wife and God called you to be a wife, don't mean that you can't experience wholeness without being that wife. You know, God will keep you whole until it's time for you to be in an entirety with somebody else. And so don't sell yourself short. Don't reverse prostitute yourself and purchase time from people with your body, with your information, with your soul, because you're trying to keep them around. No, it's not worth it. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. A dude's still gonna get them cookies, and they gonna go wherever else they want to go to do whatever else they want to do. It ain't gonna keep them. You need something else, babe. But sex ain't gonna do it by itself. Men, to be honest with you, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna really get in some trouble, Lexi, I'm so sorry. Some of the most erotic moments that men have ever had in their lives have been with themselves. So you think you coming in doing some tricks, and
I need a pen so I can let it drop, Reverend.
You know what I'm saying? So what it took you 15 minutes to do, a man could probably do for real in a good 4 minutes by himself, and probably have the same experience. Other than us,
same thing for women. But it's not the same.
Yeah, you know you didn't drop the serious bomb. It's like somebody was like, huh?
It's not the same. Stop it.
Oh, I'm not saying it's the same, but I promise you it's a good substitute.
It's all right.
Oh my God. Hey, listen, y'all. I told you that, it may get a little, interesting out here. Let me say this.
From the hip with a real gun. This ain't no.
No, Joe. That's listen, man. That's why I asked you out here, because it is what it is. And people talk like this, and we close doors and whatnot. So, you know, you just comfortable enough to talk about it out here on Blab with about 300,000 people watching. So I love you for it. So, but a lot of times with my clients, that's why I have to really cut them off from dating, period. You know, they'll have a situation in their life at the moment, and they'll be connected to some guy, and they got the I gotta habits, and I gotta no, you can't. You have to stop cold turkey. And that's like, what, man? What? Why I gotta? No, you gotta stop, because you said this, Joe. It starts with you. You know, when you get with whomever, whatever guy, you know, your husband or whatever, you want to meet a complete person. Well, guess what? He wants to meet a complete person. And sometimes, no shame, people need help getting to that place of wholeness and completeness. Okay. Knowing who you are, your identity in God. Okay. Knowing that you're made in his image and likeness. Okay. You know, that's wonderful. But what does that mean? And a lot of times understanding that is not just 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? You know, just quick fix. It takes time. All right. So a lot of times people just have to be removed, figure out what it's going to take to be whole and complete. Because when you get to that place of being whole and complete, yeah, it's not to say that you don't sense the urges and all that kind of stuff, but it is to say that you can resist because you don't feel like, well, if I don't have that, then I don't have anything. Okay. So Tanya, you've been making some crazy faces. You've been squirming. I'm hearing it. It's coming through the mic. It's feedback. I don't like it. I want to hear what you got to say. You know what I mean? You puffed all up. I mean, you from New York. You from New York, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, talk to us.
Not me.
You know, be the voice of the women out here. Talk to us.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be the voice of the women. I know I've seen a couple of comments. What happened to Joe? A couple of comments on Periscope, and one of them.
Yes, you are. Somebody says it more than just sex. Yes, you are. Go ahead.
A couple of the comments that I saw, like I saw someone wrote that if you're having sex, premarital sex, I'm paraphrasing because it was a while ago. If you're having sex, that you don't have a relationship with God, you're religious. And someone else said that they were 10 years celibate, and you know, it's just all about their relationship with God. Someone else wrote something about, no, I think one of us said being single sucks. It was like, speak for yourself and all that stuff. Okay, so I just want to say to those comments about the relationship with God and religious and all that, I think that's something dangerous to put out there. I don't think that you should, you know, because that's something that we are kind of taught. Oh, well, you don't have a relationship with God if you're having sex, and that's just not true. One has nothing to do with the other. It's really more about my relationship with myself. You can't tell me that I don't love God because I'm having sex. That's just ridiculous. And to put it out there like that, you put it out there for people to feel ashamed and guilty, and they won't talk about it. And that is a big problem in the church because, you know, it's taboo. People can't feel this way. People can't have sex. People can't, you know, it's wrong. So we don't talk about it, even though we're doing it anyway.
The church has taught us, Chris, if you're not going to be delivered, be discreet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Much as you're doing, the most holy people are the people who are better at hiding what they're into. And so we got to...
It's perception wins out at the end of the day.
Ministries in the church, Chris, the usher ministry, the men's ministry, the women's ministry. What about I'm nasty ministry? What about I can't go to sleep without touching myself at night ministry? What about that? Because we can't never deal with the issues if we don't have a respectful, honest forum that we could talk about this stuff in. And so
right. It's always like someone just wrote holiness or hell. Someone just wrote sex before marriage is a sin. There are a lot of things in the church that are sinful, and it's okay because it's not sex. It's totally like, let's just be honest and real about it and not put so much like so much condemnation on it, and let's talk about it.
See, the beauty of religion, I don't want to get off into religion because we're not on that, but
it's tied to the stigma that this particular area has from a religious, spiritual perspective. So I think it's extremely relevant.
You start talking like Tanya said, those people were commenting, and no disrespect, but you kind of diminish the miracle of what the cross was. The cross was about us and our sins, that Jesus took our sins to the cross, future, past, and present. And so to think that either holiness or hell, our righteousness is wrapped up inside of Christ. Our salvation is wrapped up inside of what he did on the cross. And so if we're condemned for acts that Jesus already died for, then what he died for? I'm not saying that we should go out and sin, because we need to find a place that where we stop breaking God's heart with our behavior. But at the end of the day, we are all born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And there are none righteousness. Our righteousness next to God is like that of a filthy rag. And we are justified, which means that we are declared righteous. We're not made righteous. We're not born righteous. We are declared righteous, which means that we went to court and the devil said guilty, and Jesus put his blood on us, and the God said he got an appeal. He's innocent. He's innocent of all charges. It don't mean that we still don't sin. It just means that we love Christ through our sins. And I went to a white church. Black church always talk about sex being the biggest sin. The white church deal with pride more than anything else. And so we got people on here saying, "What you going to hell? You doing all that?" Well, you operate in the spirit of pride, and that could be an even more deadlier sin than what sex is. And that's just my point. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, let me say this, and I see, for me, all of this type of dialogue is wonderful, and I don't shy away from it, because to me it brings to light what needs to be addressed. All right. So for those who say, holiness and whatnot, and I'm not making light of that, but if you have somebody that's at a place in their life where they look at you as being on the dream team, and you throw out these slogans and they're saying, I don't know how to be where you are and to have what you have. And because they feel less than, they don't say anything, because they feel like there's a huge gap between where they are, maybe in, being intimate, having sex and whatnot, and feel like they can't stop. Okay. But you may be in a position where, I'm 10 years out of the game. I'm good. I'm this, and hold on, the private man, I see you. I'm gonna let you in. And so where is that olive, leaf or branch or whatever that says, hey, come here, I love you. You know what I'm saying? What's your name? Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? Let's go get a Happy Meal. Let's chop it up. And then we can talk about, because let me know how much you love me before you give me all the rules and regulations. Okay? Because now we don't even have a relationship. All right. So now you may send me further, deeper into the abyss. Okay. Where I really don't want to be, because I think maybe there's a misconception that, they do that. Those people, they want to do that. That's all they want to do anyway. That's not necessarily the case. So I'm not trying to be on the soapbox. Reverend, I love everybody.
A couple of people are saying on Periscope,
but you just gotta
are we saying that we're saying that it's okay to have sex outside of marriage? I said, no, that's not what we're saying at all.
No,
it's not what we're saying. We're saying that the reality is that we're saying that is a reality. And okay, now that is a reality, Now, how do we deal with this reality?
Right.
Why is the reality there? Okay, how did we get here? And then how do we get to a place of wholeness? Because we're saying that a lot that pretty much comes out of having a void that, you know, that needs to be filled by God and needs to be filled by a sense of identity. But a lot of people don't have any idea how to get there. Hey, hold on. I want to see what my man, the private man, has to say, because I think he would like to weigh in on this, and I want to give him an opportunity to join us today. Hello, are you there? The private man, you are on with us on Blab. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Yay! There we go.
Thank you for having me on. It's I've got a fairly slow connection, so please forgive me for that in advance. Thank you for your patience for looking at me in slow motion. Three things I just want to bring up. I'll make them quick, as I want to keep the discussion moving along. The first thing is I'm enjoying this enormously, and we need to consider that at certain ages, both men and women have different relationship goals. So at 21 or 22 years old, both men and women, young men and women, I think they're just walking hormones, looking for a place to sit down, and they're going after their hormonal motivation. Now, as we get a little bit older in life, women are going to be thinking about more about stability and settling down and all that, and men too, to a certain extent. So I think it's important to make that differentiation based on age. Now, there's a couple of things that are even more important than that. Is, first of all, there is a concept out there, and I think we've all seen it. It's called hypergamy, and it's a very interesting word, and it's just a fancy way of saying that women date up, or they want to date up or marry up. And I don't know, that could be education, it could be affluence, it could be social influence, you know, and even the younger girls. I mean, they want to be with the guy who's got the most social influence, good or bad. And you know, they're attracted to that. So we have this concept of hypergamy, and I see it in you know, in men and women in their late 20s and early 30s, because I've read a lot of statistics on that, way too many statistics. And that, for instance, in colleges these days, 60% of college graduates are girls or women, and only 40% are men. And with hypergamy, if all these women, they want to date up, there just aren't enough male college graduates out there. They're just not there. And so this presents a problem. And so whatever men that are out there that can fulfill a woman's sense of dating up, he's got options. He's got a lot of options. And so the first woman who says, you know, okay, well, I'm gonna stay true to my faith. I'm gonna stay true to my ideals, and you know, I won't be letting it go quite quickly. Well, for every woman like that, there's four more. We're like, oh, pick me. You know, I'll go out on Saturday night, and I'll be happy to have a place of horizontal repose very quickly on the first or second date. So we certainly have to keep that in mind. And this is going to be tough for women. It really is, truly, and it's tough right now for women. And there is absolutely no easy answer, because hypergamy, a woman's desire to date up, I think that's almost biological. I mean, I think that's almost in their genes. They want protection. They want security. Doesn't mean they have to be gold diggers about it, but they want that kind of security and protection. And you know, if she's got a bachelor's degree and whatever, or she, you know, or maybe she's got a good, strong nursing degree, you know, she wants to have, you know, to date a man or get involved with a man of equal or greater economic or educational status. And those men just aren't there. And a lot of men know that. They know that. And what they do is they're like, okay, you know, I mean, back in the old days, there'd be one woman for one man kind of thing. But now it's like there's 8 college-educated women and 1 college-educated man. And what is this guy doing? Well, take a guess. And I don't care what church he belongs to. He knows the math. I mean, he's not stupid. He went to college. Maybe he majored in mathematics to figure out the ratios. It's like, really? All right. You know, I'm going to church on Sunday, and I'm not going to go.
Hey, but you know, hey, you bring up a good point, because I've had a lot of good friends that say that, you know, maybe they went to a new church, and they said that, you know, women were coming up to them and not much time at all, saying, you know, God told me that you're my husband, you know, kind of deal. So And
the guy
kind of feel like, you know, meat on the hoof.
Yeah, and the guy is going to say, "Great, because you're my date this Saturday." But that's after I have a date with Elaine, and then on Sunday night I'm having a date with Mary, and then on Monday I'm having a date with Tanya. You know, get in line. And and if I'm a guy, oh shit, there we go. Hang on. It froze up. Oh, there we go. No. I think we got it. So, I mean, you know, the mathematics are not in favor of a woman. And the higher the woman goes up on the career and the educational ladder, the fewer available men are out there. And this is a real problem. And there is no easy solution. The only solution that I've heard seriously was what's called a mixed collar relationship. Whereas the guy might have a good job, and he's got a steady job, and he's making pretty good money, but he doesn't necessarily have a bachelor's or a master's degree. And the woman may have a bachelor or master's degree, but it may be one of those subjects that doesn't pay real well. And so then you end up with this sort of mixed collar relationship. And that's probably going to take a couple generations to happen. Right now, it's just very, very difficult for women of a certain education and a certain career point. Question.
Hey, we gotta cut it right here only because we're actually way over. Hey, but I appreciate you, man. And anytime you see me out here, I would love to have you join in. You have great insight, you know, and I appreciate you. So you just go by the private?
I am the private man. Yeah, that's it. That's the guy, or you can say the guy with the eye patch.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. All right,
man, thank you.
All right, man. Take care. I appreciate you. Yeah. Hey, listen, you know, it's an open forum. You never know what, you know, but he brought up a lot of good points, actually. And yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing I love about relationships. It's so many different areas. I mean, we just tried to tackle one, and the things he talked about, that's like 2 more shows, you know, just to tackle, you know, some of those things. But when you talk about the numbers game, I will say this, ladies, because I hear this a lot. And, you know, one may think that because a guy has so many options, okay, like say my favorite, I have a sweet tooth, right? I like Hershey bars, I like Twizzlers. But here's the thing. If I eat them all day, every day, and I have nothing else of substance, I'm going to be tired and I may throw up of eating Hershey bars and Twizzlers. At some point, my body is going to crave for the nutrients, okay, that it was hardwired, okay, to need. I've heard too many guys that had their choice, their pick. Listen, I have them in different flavors, different colors, different heights, dude. And I don't want all of that. There's nothing there. Speak to that, Joe.
Well, I'll say it like this, man. I sometimes get a craving for a steak, right? And
I'm jealous, man. You met New Edition. You was there with him. I'm sorry, y'all. Apologize. I had a moment. Go ahead, Joe.
Threats.
My girl me a surprise Christmas gift to meet my favorite band. She's good friends with Ralph and Johnny from New Edition.
I'm jealous, man. I met him and I'm still jealous, but go ahead.
To Miami, man. It took me to meet them dudes, man. I was like a little girl, man. No, don't get it twisted. I'm still one of them boys. Yeah, I was on some fan stuff, man. I meet everybody, man. I met 2 sitting presidents. I met Beyonce. I met everybody. But when I met them dudes, it was something different. But let me say this though. You know, when I got a taste for a steak, Chris, I don't go try to supplement that with nothing else. And so ladies, be the steak. Don't. You cannot control what a man does or what he desires. If he got a bunch of options, let him have those options, because whatever turns him off about you is God protecting you from that type of man. And so if he turned off by your inability to accept his options and his playerific lifestyle, then that's a turnoff that God was ordained and a part of to keep that man away from you. You know, ladies, the guy was talking about hyperbole, which is a good point. because it goes back to the system of how God created women. And this goes back to sex too, is that when God created women, he really waited until everything was in place. I mean, everything in Eden was in place. Nothing was out of place. Everything was named. All the trees were in full bloom. The grass was at its perfect height. Man was in his proper place. He was instructed. He had everything. And then God decided at that point that he thought enough of women to introduce them into that environment. So naturally, there are certain things that y'all like a man has to have, that things have to be in place. That's why y'all always like, where we going? Where we going to park? What we got to wear? How's this going to be over here? Do we got to wrap this Christmas gift? Y'all like order is because God created y'all in an environment of order. So all I'm saying is that Eve wasn't introduced. Her body was not available to Adam until he was introduced to a place where everything was in order. Why are y'all giving up y'all sex to disordered men? Why y'all giving up y'all bodies to men who don't have, or who are not in their proper place? And so Adam was already constructed. He know how to lead Eve. He know how to lead the garden. He know what everything was named, so he could instruct her and teach her and show her the protocol. That's when your body should be available. It's when you wake up in a place where everything is in order. Until then, you'll be my man Corey Holcomb said as a joke, he's a friend, but he's the most horrific, vulgar comedian you could ever hear. He went over this hood rat house, Chris, and he was so ready to have sex with her that he did it to her on a pile of dirty clothes, and then he washed his body up with the kids' coat. That's the environment of disorder that you give your body up. Eve didn't give her body up until she was at Eden. Why are you accepting less than Eden before you allow a man to enter your body? Go ahead, Chris.
Wait a minute.
Oh no, listen, that was good. But the ladies, they want to hear from you, Tanya. Go ahead. I want your feedback.
All that was great. I think that's awesome what you said. But a reoccurring theme in everything that you guys have been saying is about identity and knowing who you are and knowing your worth, and all of that is wonderful to say, to yeah, that's a good thing. I would say in my head, but that how do you get there to know who you are and what you are and how valuable you are? Because a lot of women are not there. A lot of women, with whatever situations they grew up with and things that have happened to them as they've grown, over the years, then now they're women and at a place that they're so broken and they don't know who they are and they don't know their worth, that, so you're saying these things, but that it just is not really connecting. It's connecting in the head, like, yeah, I'm worth something, I should wait. But when it comes down to it, how do you get to that place? Like there.
Okay, let me answer it like this, Tanya. The way you and I got to know each other is you came to me as a client. So I would, if we made any headway at all, how did you get there?
Well, so I'm answering my own question.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, let the ladies know, John the Baptist. Come on now.
But, what I'm just saying that because like all the years, I grew up in church, and all the years just before I met you, I, every week was at that altar, like, praying and crying and getting my hands laid on me for everything. And I would come home and say, what is wrong with me? That I'm still broken, that I'm still upset, that I'm still hurting, that I still just don't get it. And I think that is, a really big issue. We have to you know, I had to learn about me and, you know, what I had to fall in love with me. I had to really learn who I was. Forgiveness was huge. You know, I had to forgive myself for a lot of things as well as other people in my past. And, you know, I think that has to happen before you can even think about having a successful, healthy relationship with someone else, let alone, you know, talk about the whole, you know, sex thing. Like,
well, go ahead, Joe.
I think that's perfect. I think that you had a lot of value, and I guess that us saying what we say is a little vague, but the truth is that you got to find wholeness in whatever capacity where you're leaking. Some women are dealing with father issues. Some women are dealing with molestation. They're dealing with pain. They're dealing with abandonment. They're dealing with so many different things. And there's a remnant of men out here who's intelligent enough to figure out what your issue is and learn how to manipulate
absolutely.
it. That's where the pimps
absolutely.
Those girls, their fathers wasn't around, all that kind of stuff. So what you have to do is you cannot be ready to cleave and become one, because the Bible said two becomes one, that they cleave together. It takes two whole individuals to become one. And if you're not whole, you're not ready. And so you have to find wholeness through clinical therapy. You got to find wholeness with God and identity in God, and rebuilding a relationship with your father or whatever the case, to deal with those unresolved issues, because you can love and have a relationship with dysfunctions, but you cannot do it through your dysfunctions. And so if you got dysfunctions, you got to be able to override them and not love through that place, because you'll be expecting people to be something that they never were called to be. Is because you lack certain things in certain areas, you know. So clinically, I think you need to find wholeness. Spiritually, I think you need to find wholeness, and that gotta be vague, because I can't speak individual to your issues. And women, I empathize with you. I know I can't understand what it feels like to be raped, to be molested, for your father to abandon you, for a man to say he loved you and completely walked away from you. I don't know what that feel like, and I could never ever say I do. But I'm telling you, if you still harbor those issues, is in your private time, if you're still crying and you're still hurt about it, I'm gonna tell you something, lady. You're not ready for a relationship. You're not ready to try to find a mate. You gotta find wholeness first, and you gotta be healed first. Because if you bring your affected or affected self into a relationship, you're going to affect the whole relationship, and it's always going to be sick. And so let's try to find wholeness. And I guess, Chris, and you got to speak to this. I don't know if you'll ever find 100% wholeness, but there is a plateau, I believe, that you can reach before you could deal with trying to be in a relationship. Chris, can you speak to that?
I oftentimes use the analogy of a woman being the diamond. And I believe that every woman is a diamond. But oftentimes that diamond has had mud, junk, trash, all kind of different things put on it, right? Well, when you talk about going through any type of therapy or coaching or whatever, there's a process of getting all of that wiped away. Okay, so the true essence of that diamond can come forth. Now, to Tanya's point, a lot of times what we do teach well-meaningly is that you can go to a prayer line, get some oil put on you, and you're healed. And a lot of people are going through that and walking away from that, and they feel like they're the same as when they went up there, sometimes even worse. And my thing is this: sometimes you just have to work with somebody, hold their hand, and take them through, okay, or take them out of what they're in. And it's a lot of things that they don't even know what to prepare for, how to deal with it. And that's the beauty of what I was born to do this, you know, coach, title, whatever. But I am the person that does that. So when I work with somebody, it's not just some textbook. It's like I'm all in it. My heart is in it. You know, me and that person, it's for real. And so I believe that genuineness and that ability to be able to know what they're thinking, know how they're feeling, and to articulate that back to them and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. And it's hard for me to really put it into words, and I'm sure it'd be challenging for Tanya too, even though she's gone through it, is that until you have gone through that and have somebody walk you through that, you really don't know how powerful that is. 'Cause especially in the Black community, we oftentimes, therapists and coaches and all of that, that's not so much the norm. What happens in this house stays in this house and all of that. That's kind of how we grew up. All right. Yeah. We may go to our pastor sometimes and talk to him, but sometimes the pastor's gift is preaching. You know, it may not be counseling. He may need some help, you know what I'm saying, with his situation, because it's kind of, you know, rocky. So not that I'm trying to give a commercial for coaching and therapy, well, whoever you go to, but yes, you may need to have somebody, because when you just rattled off some serious stuff, molestation, rape, you know, the daddy issues, you know, and then a lot of the ladies are saying men have issues too. You know what? Absolutely. You are 100% right. Okay. And the guys need to go talk to somebody just like the women do. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Oftentimes guys are more reluctant. Okay, just because I closed off nature, just because of how we feel like we have to deal with things internally, we retreat, we go into our man cave and we try to figure it out. And oftentimes things have to be totally horrible and falling apart before we will say, all right, now I'll go talk to somebody. But it doesn't mean that we don't need to, okay, immediately. But here's the thing, ladies, when you get whole and you recognize what wholeness looks like, you'll be less likely to link up with somebody who's not whole. You know, you can tell, oh no, they're not complete.
You can see it a lot quicker than you could before.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead and speak to it, Tanya. You just spoke up now.
Well, yeah.
No, seriously, go ahead. Because you know, you have a really powerful, you do have a powerful story, Tanya, and you know, you've told it before, and we're not gonna get into all of that, but you've been through a lot. I mean, the fact that you're sitting here and you can form full sentences is amazing. You know what I mean? Considering all of the crap that life is thrown, thrown at you. But but seriously, you speak to the fact that now you can identify people who are not complete and not whole as a result of what you are.
A lot quicker. I remember coming to you and saying, like, I would get into these relationships over and over again, and I would think that the next time, each new relationship, that I was choosing something totally different, that I was, being a lot more cautious, doing things differently, and would end up in the exact same situation or worse, actually. And I was so confused. I didn't know why that kept happening when I thought that everything I was doing was different, or that I thought I was changing. So after going through coaching and realizing like all the things and working out all the things that I had going on with me, seeing other people's dysfunction, was a lot easier to recognize, a lot easier to see, and a lot quicker. So I didn't get caught up, in these long relationships before I realized, something's not right, a year, 2 years later, a couple weeks in, a month or two in, I'm like, oh, red flag. No, thanks.
And that's another point, ladies. A lot of times you'll be able to sniff out very quickly, even if he ain't necessarily, you feel like he ain't showing you everything, but those red flags that were there before, okay, that you just either didn't see or ignored or whatever, now they stand out and they're like, and you're like, no, I know you, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, and you're just a lot quicker, and you're more stronger. Can't say that. You're stronger, okay, in terms of being able to pull back when you sense it. Because I remember, Tanya, it was a situation that you pulled back from, and you put on your big girl, because you were like, before I wouldn't have done that. I would have just went along with it. That was your thing. just go along. You know, it's wrong, but I'm gonna go along. So I think when you're complete and you fill up those gaps, you know, you're much more in a situation or position to be able to do what you need to do. But men and women, we all need help. You know, I mean, we're all trying to get somewhere else. You know, like you said, Joe, do you ever really fully get there? I don't know. I don't think you fully ever stop growing. You know, you always need some form of mentorship or discipleship.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we have just talked, and actually some people have stayed out here with us. And, you know, my thing was this, it took me like 2 years to get Joe, so I wasn't going to cut him off. You feel me? Because I'm going to treasure this. Y'all don't understand. This is Joe Global. I didn't say this is this ain't Joe City. This ain't Joe Neighborhood. This ain't Joe Regional. Listen what I tell you. And I think he's 2 weeks. I think he's 2 weeks away from getting promoted to Joe International. No, Interstellar. Like yeah, Universe. Joe Universe.
I wonder how people I'm in when I call Lexi when I get off this thing. I'm just trying to gauge, because I don't know what I'll never really know what I'm saying when I'm talking until it's over. And she'll be like, I can't believe you said that now. So in trouble, man. You owe us a session for free.
I'm here. You know what I mean? Get at me. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. No, but seriously, everybody that participated, I appreciate you. Glad you joined in. Hopefully, you know, someone got something out of it. You know, it might not have been what everybody wanted to hear. Hopefully it was what some people needed to hear. And for those of you that, like I said, maybe going through this issue, hopefully you did feel like, you know, it was love, no judgment, you know, just wanting to help you out. So I do these every week. I love when, you know, Lexi blesses me and joins me, because she has, I think she's up to 2 billion followers now. So
it might be somewhere like 2 billion.
Yeah. She's like, she's like Oprah out here in these streets, you know. And so yeah, listen, let me say this. Go get the book on my website. It's free. Forbidden Secrets of the Goodie Box, what your father didn't tell you and your mother didn't know. A lot of wonderful relationship advice in there, especially if you're the doormat. My website, ChristopherReid.org. Go get that downloaded. There is a cruise that we're planning, the Wellness Cruise 2016. If you're single, couples, it doesn't matter. We're talking about health and wellness, well, fitness, I should say, relationships. We're talking about pursuing your purpose, you know, going after that thing that God has told you to go after. You know, you should be doing it. You're disobedient, whatever. And we're going to have fun in the sun. I've said this so many times. I'm going topless, and I'm really proud about it. I've decided to just go ahead and just make it happen. Yeah. And what else? What else am I forgetting? What you got, Joe? Everybody wants to know when your book's coming out. You are working on a book, though, man. We talked about that.
I am. I'm in the beginning stages of putting together the real reasons men cheat. Let's talk about the real deep reasons. It's deeper than
they want that right now.
Right now. Right now.
I'm gonna really work on that, man. And something that God gave me when I was on a long vacation.
Yeah, amen and amen again for long vacations. The next one can be in Mexico, though.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
The Bahamas, hello, on the cruise.
Yeah, the cruise, the Bahamas. Hey, you should get Lexi there, and then you guarantee yourself, Tanya, that everybody's just gonna come. Okay, so listen, anytime you want to join, Joe, I love to, if you have one and you allow me to come on there, man, you know, but I believe, you know, and Tanya, you can speak to this, but I just believe that, you know, women need to hear this type of this information from guys who have good intentions, not trying to take anything from you, but just want to see you be the best that you can be. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And Tanya, you're an awesome co-host. I give you a lot of crap, but you know, I don't know. It's not going to stop, but I just figured
me with those faces, man. I said, man, I'm off today.
Hey, that's what she give you, the faces. She has, you know, her last name is Diaz. There's a lot of attitude and swagger. She has a lot of New York type.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't, oh yeah.
Those Diaz. About that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Listen, we're out of here.
Somebody said I was too quiet. I'm normally not this quiet. Joe had a lot to say. I just wanted to hear everything he had to say.
Yeah, you were more quiet than you normally are. Let's just say that.
I'm not gonna talk Tanya, I promise.
Oh, what? Okay. We got it next time. Yeah. Hey, offline.
We're gonna hold you to that. That's like a signed contract. You said it.
Hey. You and I need to talk, Joe, offline about the NE thing, man, because listen, you don't understand. That's like, it goes way back with me with New Edition, man. So
I'm trying to get them in, you know, I'm a concert promoter by trade. So I'm trying to do a concert in Chicago with them in the next few months. So, you know, it's time to come to Chicago. You know how, you know, ain't no hospitality better than my hospitality. So, man, come to Chicago. I got you. If I get this show, I'm gonna take care of you, man.
You got the show, man. You already got the connections. You already know who to talk to. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got that direct connect with the Florida connection.
I got that Florida connection directly, but you know, logistically, got to put the logistics together and make sure it makes sense, because it's not no cheap show.
Ooh, I know it ain't.
But I definitely want you to come, be front row with me, man. And
I'll be here.
Let's go.
I'll be there. I have to try to keep it real cool while I'm like.
Ex-Lexi about it. Ex-Lexi.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely am. All right, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go eat a Hershey bar. Like,
no, Lexi, she's my best friend. She just doesn't know me.
Okay.
You're a stalker.
I am a little bit, just a little bit.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
All right, y'all, bye.